Ian Foster's rugby pedigree might not be as well known outside of New Zealand, but the numbers actually speak for themselves. Many share my sentiment that Scott Robertson should probably have been in this position at the moment, but he'll take over after the World Cup. But for now, Ian Foster is running the show for the World Cup, so let's have a look at what he's all about. Ian has been all about rugby for a couple of decades now, and it all started with Waikato. He played a franchise record of 148 games for Waikato. If you combine it with his games for the Chiefs between 1989 and 1998, he racked up 174 games for the respective Waikato franchises, and he amassed a total of 489 points during that time. It was 4 years later that he stepped into the role of coach at Waikato, and he started there in 2002-2003 before moving on to the Chiefs, where he coached from 2004 till 2011. When he took over at the Chiefs, the previous 2 years that he finished 8th and 10th respectively in Super Rugby. But he started turning things around, and they had that very first year they finished 4th, and a few years later they were runners up in the tournament when they played the Bulls in that famous victory. So since then they've been a fairly prominent side, and they just shortly after he departed, they won the whole tournament 2 years in a row. During that time at the Chiefs, between 2005 and 2007, he also coached the junior All Blacks. As a result of what he was able to achieve with the Chiefs team, he actually got a gig as an assistant coach with the All Blacks, which started in 2012 and ran until 2019. From 2020, he stepped into the main role as All Blacks head coach, and he's had a little bit of a bumpy ride. It wasn't really the fairy tale next step in his career that he had hoped for. It's true in the recent couple of games that the All Blacks team is growing in stature, but it's not been smooth sailing thus far. During his time as head coach, he's got a record of 26 out of 37 wins, which is a win percentage of just over 70%. For most teams, they'd be happy with that, but that is something that is an absolute shocker for an All Blacks team, because the All Blacks have averaged over 85% as a win rate for decades. The biggest lowlights during this time has probably been that draw against England at the end of last year, the 25% win ratio that they've got against Ireland, and then the 2 losses that they've suffered against Argentina, who's regularly been the whipping boy of the rugby championship over the years. He probably holds the most difficult position in rugby as the head coach of the All Blacks. With all eyes on him, he's expected to do miracles every single time that they step onto the field. So there's still some way for him to go. There's a couple of things that he needs to work out, but his squad is looking good. He's got the right personnel around him, and the All Blacks are definitely going to go deep in the tournament.